No, it's just when other people find
It just gets
joy.
too exciting and like everybody's all into it, and I'm like, whatever.
It's when other people find joy in things.
Yes,
and that
that's
takes
what
it
it
away from
is.
you.
I hate the
and
joy.
You want to take that joy.
Yeah.
And crush
All
it.
bet, pal.
Crush it.
Well, I got the chills. So
Yeah.
how's that?
Well, I know, and that's what the biggest surprise of the day is. I think.
No,
it
Come
is.
on.
It's pretty great.
It's the wrap up of like over a decade of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and it's very exciting.
Melting the ice heart of Ryan. Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly entertainment show here at Digital Trends, where we talk about movies and television and everything going on in the world of entertainment, because we want to bring you up to date with it. And there is a lot to talk about this week. As usual, there usually is, although sometimes I'm kind of lying when I say that. There's not as much to talk about. That's a little inside
That's
ball
true. He
game.
always says there's a lot to talk about, but there's always something.
Well, there's a lot to talk
about.
about, but it's not always the most exciting thing.
That's true.
Today is exciting. We've got
I would agree with that.
Men in Black news. We're going to be talking about Star Trek news.
Started with Men in Black.
Well, I'm kind of going backward. We're working our way up, Ryan. We're teasing up to the beginning.
All right.
Netflix news, Game of Thrones news. We're covering all of those different stories today, and we're doing it live here on Twitch, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, in addition to being a podcast. And I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And I think the biggest thing today that we want to get to is talking about Marvel. And as we all know, probably you've seen it by this point, the new trailer, the first trailer for Infinity War, as we now know, Endgame.
Yeah, just
is
Avengers Endgame. There's no Infinity War, but
that's
yes.
right. Avengers Endgame.
Called Avengers 4. It was originally supposed to be Avengers Infinity War 2, so yeah, that was the working title.
Right. And
now we know.
I suppose it could be, they could change this title too still.
I think this is going to be it.
You think it's going to be Endgame?
I think it's a good title. I think it's succinct. I think it's very important to understand that it's wrapping up Phase 3 of Marvel, and it's never going to be the same. Some of these people are not going to come back, and it's just a really... I found myself more emotional than I thought I was going to be. It was a really great start. We don't want to give too much away if you're still waiting to watch it, but it starts with
it's a trailer.
Starts with Tony Stark in space
spoiling the
saying goodbye to Pepper Potts, and I thought that was a really great way to pull that emotion into it. And the Russo brothers are just so good. I don't know who edited this, who put this together, but that shot of his bird flying through space, it's just really beautiful. Yeah. And right away, I felt like, the first film, the first part of this, the third one, did a good job with how many crazy amounts of stories they were trying to juggle. But this one actually is going to have fewer stories. It's going to have a more unified storyline because of what happened.
People,
and so I think they're going to have an easier time of putting some emotional gravity in it. And I just think, whether or not you're going to be satisfied with the way they wrap it up, I'm really excited for it now.
Well, and they definitely did bring the emotional side to it right out the gate, because it's like, it sucked. What happened? I mean, sorry, spoilers. You should see it by now.
Yeah, you got to see it.
But yeah, I mean, they jump right back into it just based on this trailer alone. Couple of interesting things that I thought were in there as far as appearances. You see a few different superheroes in there, but you also get to see Hawkeye, and that's the long rumor has been that Hawkeye is going to come back as Ronin,
and he's totally Ronin.
And yeah, in this trailer, you get to see him as Ronin with the giant sword, pulling it out there. He
looks like a badass. You're always talking down about Hawkeye, but he looks.
Well,
like
everybody
a badass.
talks down about Hawkeye.
Well,
I mean,
thought he looked like a badass.
He's really good at shooting bows and arrows. I mean, come on.
That's fair.
Come on.
You got an ice heart. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, right now I'm the one with
the ice heart. They also, I wanted to bring up some stuff too. Thor has an eye.
Well, that already happened.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Did that happen in the first one?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of Ragnarok. I've been testing with it, and it's just a great movie. So I kind of forgot that he had an eye in the first
Yes.
But the other thing
comes
is,
back.
Of course, Ant-Man shows up.
Ant-Man showing back up.
And the big question is, how the hell did he get out of the quantum realm?
Yeah, and that is a big question.
Which is pretty cool.
So, Ant-Man showing back up in there, which, missing from Infinity War.
Yeah, and we found out that he was in the quantum realm when the event happened.
Yeah.
And that's not a good spot to be in.
No.
Because he had people watching him and trying to help, and
something
were no
happened
there.
But he's definitely in this trailer as that. And now somebody we didn't see in the trailer that we're 99.999% sure is going to be there. Well, she's going to be there. Is Captain Marvel. So we get the Captain Marvel prequel, it's a Captain Marvel origin story,
right? Which is a prequel
which takes place
to the
in
MCU.
the 90s.
Yes, exactly.
On March 8th is when Captain Marvel comes out, and Captain Marvel is supposed to be the most powerful superhero in the universe, basically, or one of them.
One of them, yeah. It depends on who you ask, but she's very powerful.
Yes, and at least, one of the most powerful that's shown up in this cinematic universe, and so she's supposed to play a major role in this Avengers 4 movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's long been talking about. I mean, it's even there's the spoiler at the end of Infinity War 1. You know that they show Samuel L. Jackson calling her,
right?
So
paging her,
yeah.
Yes.
So you know that she's going to be showing back up in it or in this new movie.
Yep.
So didn't get to see that part.
No,
maybe we'll get to see that closer.
Actually, they really didn't give that much away, but I think what I took away from it was that I think the best thing I did take away from it was the emotional, gravity of it and the relevance of it. And I think they're going to be able to build this thing into something real because and not just a big smash and explosion movie.
No, it's
because they have a lot of stuff that has been leading up to this point, and I'm excited.
Well, for those of you watching live, what was your favorite part of the trailer if you watched this, or are you excited about it or not? One other thing I wanted to bring up was just the Thanos with his armor sitting there, as he's walking through the field.
That was very interesting.
Yeah.
To see the armor hung up.
Yeah, because he's done. His job's done.
Also, why the snap of the fingers? That's just so. Why? I thought that was a metaphor.
Like, wait, what did you?
I could just snap my fingers, but then it was literally.
How did you want him to do it?
I don't know. Like, couldn't he just do it with his brain? Why did it have to be like a snap of the fingers?
That's not very fun to watch.
I don't know. I just thought that was silly.
Boom, did it?
But I mean,
wink and
what are you gonna
wink at the camera or something, and then
I don't know. Just go. You could have gone like that.
Yeah, show that one more time just for the close up. Okay, there we go. All right, so that Captain Marvel, we did get the other Captain Marvel trailer that came out earlier this week, and we just showed part of that there.
Yeah, some cool stuff in there too.
Some cool stuff. We want to get to talk about. We've got several Marvel things here that we want to get to, and we're going to talk about some Daredevil news, which is a bit surprising and not surprising at the same time. We'll get to that in a second. However, going on with this, Marvel Cinematic Universe, we know it's not going to end. It's going to change majorly after this.
Yeah, Phase 4.
Yeah, after this new movie comes out, after Endgame comes out. And the talk about that is bringing in new superheroes. Well, there is one now in development. Marvel is in development for a movie about Shang-Chi. I did not know who Shang-Chi was.
No idea.
Did not know. They're touting it as Marvel's first Asian film, or first superhero film starring an Asian superhero. That's kind of what they're going for with this. And Shang-Chi first appeared in 1973, so it's an older character that's been around. And essentially, reading up on this, he grew up in China, sheltered. Like his parents were very, very rich and kind of sheltered him and taught him martial arts. And he thought his dad was just this great guy. And then he gets out in the outside world and finds out that his dad might not be such a nice dude, and that he's known as the Devil's Doctor. And that apparently sounds like experiments on things, but he's been sheltered, so you had no idea.
Okay.
So that's kind of what the basic plot is for that character. Whether they use that plot in the movie or not, I don't know.
And
but
what are his
but it is in development. Yeah. He's really good at martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some more
so
stuff
he's right
in
up there with Hawkeye as far as Greg is concerned. Exciting.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. I'm sure there's more to it. And again, I'm
Batman
just
was
finding out about this.
Good at martial arts, and he had some cool toys. So maybe this guy will have cool toys. There's a lot of these stories where it's like, he's just good at stuff.
Maybe there's
and
more
has
to it.
cool
Maybe
stuff.
there's more to it. I don't know the entire history of
We'll
Shang-Chi. I just found out about the character
Well,
this
I'm
week.
surprised you don't, and I wish you would.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, I've
I'm
failed,
embarrassed.
and my bad. Yeah. My bad on
It's
that
embarrassing.
Taking a look here in the chat, just one comment coming through. Tiffany says, this Last Avenger trailer had me so cranky, I was an unhappy camper. Oh, the Last Avengers movie had me. I was an unhappy camper. Hopefully Avengers Endgame makes her happier again. Yeah.
Well, I kind of feel like it's going to do some things that people are not going to be happy with. Some of that has to do with, as we've talked about many times, contracts.
Oh, yeah, people aren't coming back.
So I think, but that's what I love about it. I think it's going to take a few chances, and it's not going to be your normal superhero film where at the end of it, everything kind of comes back together, and then there's that lead into the next movie. This is kind of going to be a punctuation mark on this part of the movies, I assume.
Right. And
probably I expect another, jump, at the end, another end sequence that'll bring us into Phase 4. But
we already know that there's a new Spider-Man movie.
Yes, of course.
We know there's another Black Panther movie coming. Possibly another Thor movie, although I don't know about that, if anything's confirmed on that.
I haven't heard much about the Thor stuff.
We definitely know Black Panther and Spider-Man.
I would be so for a Thor Hulk movie again, like another.
Oh yeah,
like them
absolutely.
Just like more adventuring through. But although I guess they kind of already did
I think Hulk's done. I think
they're
retiring the character of Hulk. That's if I had to put money on it.
I mean, then again, they could do we'll see.
There's lots they could do.
Yeah, Planet Hulk.
And it's also the comic book universe, nobody's ever really dead.
Exactly.
You know, and let alone flashbacks.
That's
or
true. Or somebody else takes up the mantle or whatever
yeah,
it might be.
There's lots. One series that we're not getting back, and that's moving on to the Marvel television series, and Daredevil. Daredevil canceled. Pretty much everything is canceled. I think the only thing that's not canceled right now is gosh, what isn't?
Well, the Punisher.
Oh, the Punisher. Well, yeah, the Punisher.
And
I keep forgetting about the Punisher as a standalone
it's kind
series.
of not, because
yeah,
he wasn't
it's
the
its own
Defenders or
thing.
anything.
Jessica Jones not canceled.
Right.
Yeah, but Luke Cage is canceled. Iron Fist is canceled. Daredevil is canceled.
Yeah.
All those at Netflix, and of course, you know, Marvel being Disney properties. Disney having their own standalone streaming service coming out.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I think it was last week where you mentioned that it sounded like Daredevil wasn't getting good ratings.
Right, we had speculated, and I think one firm had come out and said that it wasn't getting the viewership that they had hoped. But this is all kind of cagey, as we said. It's kind of like polling. So now there's a new firm called they're not new, but now there's a firm that's come out with a new story called Parrot Analytics, and they have said that it was the 4th highest demand series on Netflix. I'm
like
not
at the
quite
time
sure
or
how,
ever?
Right now, like when it was canceled, I guess.
Okay.
Of course, you know, the 3rd season had just come out, so that kind of makes sense. But basically, there are only 3 other series that had more demand, and those included Narcos, which I was kind of surprised
Mexico?
that was number 1.
Narcos Mexico is really
well,
good.
it's Narcos in general. We don't know if it's actually Mexico,
Which
but
one?
it just says Narcos.
Okay.
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which... You know,
that's really popular.
You kind of expect that. Riverdale is so popular, and then Stranger Things, which is kind of odd because we haven't seen a Stranger Things series in a really season in a really long time.
Yeah, because the 3rd one was supposed to have come out around
October.
Halloween.
Yeah, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
But so then it was 4th after that, and they were saying that it has what they call 30 million demand expressions. I do not know what this means.
I don't know what that means either.
But what this seems to be pointing to is less about the ratings, even though we only thought that was one in a myriad of reasons, and probably more about the fact that they're dissolving their partnership with Disney as Disney moves into their streaming service, Disney Play.
It's Disney being like, now.
Disney Plus.
We're pulling it.
It was Disney Play now.
Yeah, that's right, Disney Plus. Yeah, I think it's Disney making a power move on it.
Well, I don't think I think it's Netflix making a power move.
Oh, you think Netflix is the one canceling it?
Actually, we know Netflix canceled it.
I thought Disney would have the right to be like, no, there's no more new seasons.
No, they already own the rights, but what this is it's a response to Disney Plus from Netflix saying, okay, well, we are cutting you off. And it makes sense.
Isn't that just shooting themselves in the foot, though?
I don't think so at all. I mean, when you think about it, all of Marvel is going to exist on Disney at some point or another. And what you're really doing at this point is sort of advertising for Disney Plus. It's like, oh, you like Marvel shows, huh? Well, you know, there's this other place that has a lot of Marvel shows, and that's what Disney Plus is going to be doing. So what Netflix has been doing is, you remember when they bought Miller World, which is a whole indie comics.
Right.
They bought the rights to all of that.
They did.
And I think what they're going to be doing is digging into Miller World stuff, creating their own comic books universe, and saying goodbye to Marvel altogether.
That's a very good theory. You're probably right on that.
We'll
I
see if
still
it's
think,
popular,
I mean, yeah. Come on, it's Marvel.
But
that's
Miller
the
World
biggest...
does have some really cool heroes, and the other part is
they're interesting.
There will eventually be some fatigue on Marvel. I mean, I know it's still really popular, but nothing lasts forever. So if they're looking to the future, they're saying, you know, you want something a little fresh.
Is
These
Miller
stories
World,
a little,
though, where people are going to go?
Well, we'll see. But these stories are a little different. They're a little different way to approach the superhero scene, and we've seen people approaching the superhero scene in different ways be very popular, as with Logan, you know, and to a degree.
You're right there.
With Ryan Reynolds.
With Deadpool.
Deadpool,
yeah. Although those are also established, known characters.
They are. It's a different situation, but the point being, a different angle on superheroes may just be what people are looking for at some point.
I'm looking here in the chat. Edward just said, I'm so tired of comics anything.
There you go.
There's probably going to be some fatigue.
So if someone comes up with a much more interesting way to approach comics, as Miller World has a lot of interesting stories, maybe that will be very popular. Well,
that is where we're at right now, just talking about the Daredevil and just everything with Marvel Netflix series. Maybe there's more to it. It wasn't just poor ratings. And maybe the ratings were actually good.
Yeah,
so the fight shall continue.
We always knew there was more to it, but we thought the ratings were maybe helping along since they're expensive series. But I think it's more and more being evident that you know, the broader picture is Netflix is saying, okay, we're dissolving our partnership.
Well, there we go. That's the end of our comic book news, I think, for today. So let's go on to something else. Game of Thrones. Yes, it's still around. It has not concluded yet. In case you forgot, the final season is in April of 2019. I think at that point it'll be like almost 2 years probably since we last saw any Game of Thrones. It's got to be somewhere around that.
It's been a while.
And
what an exciting teaser. I mean, I was just jumping out of my seat for this. Did you see that? They had mist. They had,
oh, that's a wolf,
like
and he's cold.
Game pieces.
And then there's a lion, and he was hot.
Man, is this exciting.
And there's a dragon in there. So,
I mean,
yeah.
thank you for the, like, ever like, evolving excitement / like diminishing returns
for
nothing
Game of Thrones
burger from Game of Thrones. It's like, okay, just don't give us anything if you're not
yeah,
gonna give us anything.
you kind of hope they were going to show some footage. There is no footage. It's just, if you haven't seen it yet, it's just got like a weird little chessboard almost kind of
fire
thing.
and ice.
Yeah,
and
it's
blah,
really
blah, blah.
really boring. But Game of Thrones coming out April 2019. So I'm hoping we'll get to see some more as we get closer to that, unless they just try to avoid any kind of spoiler and don't show anything from it.
Maybe they just like had to
I'll
throw
still
out all
watch
the footage.
it. I'm still going to watch it regardless. I mean, I have to finish it.
Right now, we have no proof they have any footage.
That's true. Maybe they won't. Yeah. We don't. Okay. There are some questions. Okay, there are some different comments coming through.
Yeah.
We'll circle back around to that, and we will get to those comments in there talking about comic book series. I do continuing on with Game of Thrones though. The prequel series is still coming. We didn't get a whole lot of new news on it, but it sounds like George R.R. Martin did an interview, and he was just talking about how they have a lot of room to work since it's set thousands of years before.
Yeah.
Before the current Game of Thrones series that you're seeing now, none of those characters existed back then, and so they can really create this whole new world.
Fantasy prequels are so hot right now.
Yeah. Fantasy prequels. Because who else is doing a fantasy?
Well, the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the
is
Rings,
a
yeah.
multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
That's right. That is
by
a prequel.
Amazon. That's a prequel series as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be multiple prequel series, we think. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's the hot
and
stuff.
and probably multiple Game of Thrones prequel series. So
Yeah,
we've got
we're
Game of
assuming.
Thrones forever.
Yep.
That's going to be happening. All right. We want to get to talking about Star Trek and Netflix, going back to Netflix here in just a little bit to talk about their $100 million move for this groundbreaking franchise. We'll talk about that here in a second. That was a joke. Let's get the weekend box office just to cover what we want to talk about for that. What you can go see in the theater right now, what's coming out this weekend. Mary, Queen of Scots. Starring, how do you say her name again?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
Saoirse Ronan?
I think it's Cersei.
Cersei Ronan.
Yeah, we
Cersei
don't know.
Ronan.
It's very interesting.
There's my
when
Irish
spelled.
accent again. And then we got Margot Robbie, David Tennant, Guy Pearce,
It's
Joe
a great
Alwyn,
cast.
Jack Lowden.
I mean,
yeah,
the
great cast.
first two people, are playing the queens, and like that is a serious right there. That's a huge, get for those two actresses. They're some of the best actresses in the world right now. This is getting pretty good reviews, not amazing reviews, but I think if you're into period pieces and you like these actors, you're gonna be stoked.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so there's that Mary Queen of Scots. You can go watch that if you would like to. I will definitely watch that when it comes out on Netflix. Next one, that's a Netflix movie for me.
Yeah.
We've got
Mary versus Elizabeth.
Mary versus Elizabeth. Yes. Amazing Grace. So what's Amazing Grace?
So Amazing Grace, you're probably not going to be able to see this, maybe, but if you can, I just wanted to highlight this because it is concert footage from the famous 1972 concert of Aretha Franklin that has often been called the best live gospel album of all time.
Okay.
And they've released new footage. It's supposed to be just amazing.
Okay.
So, in the wake of her passing, this is like a pretty cool thing to come out, and it should be pretty exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you can check that out as well. Those are both in the theater right now if you wanted to do that. Moving back to some other news that we got this week. Sir Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard. We know that Jean-Luc Picard's coming back.
I like how you give him the sir.
That is a Sir Patrick Stewart right there.
That's true.
We're getting the Jean-Luc Picard character returning to a new Star Trek series that is going to be on CBS All Access. So they're really trying to build their Star Trek world on there.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's not something that's something we expected to happen. But
yeah.
I love Patrick Stewart. I'm pretty excited about this.
What we found out is that it sounds like the series is going to be launching in 2019, maybe towards the end of 2019. We actually had somebody who worked on it comment on one of our posts. I was trying to get a hold of him. So it sounds like end of 2019 is what we're looking at.
Right.
CBS is saying. It'll be in 2019, but I think they're just going to string you along. I think it'll be the end of the year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but we will be getting it next year. So I just wanted to bring that up just because I still don't know if I will sign on, if I'll get a subscription to CBS All Access. But
yeah, well, you got the Twilight Zone thing. You've got
it's
the new
getting
Discovery.
closer.
You've got Patrick Stewart. Yeah,
I'm getting closer, almost there.
Well, speaking of way too many streaming services.
Yes.
Netflix got in the news this week because people were afraid that Friends was going off the air, going off of Netflix.
Who really gets that worked up about Friends? That was what surprised me.
They were not.
It was a lot of people.
Actually, I watched a lot of Friends when I had a fever. When I had a terrible fever last year.
You watched Friends?
I watched Friends. It was very comforting, and I'm a fan of the show. It's it's good old sitcom.
Something I would have pictured you saying.
I don't care.
You do not look like a that big of a Friends guy.
It's
so
funny.
you there writing letters and
no, I wasn't writing any letters,
campaign?
but I am getting more and more
Mr.
annoyed
Netflix,
by this idea that series that I think are just going to be there that I'm sort of, you feel like you own it with your subscription and then it could go away. And I don't know if you remember, Netflix paid a ton of money for Friends originally for I think like a 5-year ownership of the licensing rights. And now all of a sudden it said it was going off the air. People freaked out. Netflix eventually ended up paying another $100 million to keep it on the air for 1 year. It's also known as the highest rated streaming show in the UK, or was anyway.
Friends?
Yeah, like they never got Friends.
Why do people?
Because they never got Friends.
Oh, so they're just seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, and they're like, wow, that Ross and Rachel, I don't know what's going to happen.
And Amber just said I watch Friends every day after work. And I guess I do see that
it's
as being
kind of like The Office or Parks and Rec. These are shows that are comfort shows.
Parks and Rec is my comfort show.
There you go.
I watch that.
Exactly.
I will definitely put that in.
But this all comes up because Warner, which is owned by AT&T, which owns virtually everything right now. AT&T, I read somewhere they have 17 streaming services or something. I don't know if that's true. I didn't get into it all, but they have a lot of streaming services, and they're coming out with a new one that's going to be a 3-tiered service.
Warner Media,
and that's owned by AT&T, which also owns DirecTV, which owns DirecTV Now, which blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
A bazillion streaming services, but they own the rights, outright eventually to Friends. I guess it was through one of their subsidiaries, so they could pull it for their service eventually.
Wow.
That's probably going to happen. And again, this is the idea of like, sure, there's more choices out there, but the more these networks or these conglomerates or whatever they are create their own portals, their own streaming services for you to watch directly, their content directly, the less you're going to see on your Netflixes, even your Hulus, although that's owned by 3 different conglomerates. But other streaming services are going to lose the rights.
Right.
So it's just annoying. Like you're just not going to get the shows, and eventually what you're going to have is just shows that network produced.
Yeah.
Or just about
and
that.
It'll be 19 different services you have to subscribe to get like one series from each one.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had this discussion.
We talk about it too much, I suppose, but it's just one
maybe.
more,
but I mean, it's something.
One
it's
more
a big
reminder
topic.
of this.
It's a big topic. All right. Well, there we go. $100 million for Friends.
Yeah.
That Netflix just paid. They're going to run out of money at some point. I mean,
how they're doing
how
this.
long can you keep doing this? Does Friends really bring you $100 million worth of subscriptions?
When you spend $15 billion,
$100 million of subscriptions. Does Friends bring you
apparently, because the internet freaked out.
Wow, including you. All right. A couple other stories here that we want to get to before we wrap up to the top and address some of the comments that came through about comic book movies. Yes, we're going back to it. Men in Black. We know there's another Men in Black movie. It's not a reboot. It's still in the same universe, but just taking place in a different place. And we got the title this week. It's Men in Black International, starring Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. I don't think they can be in a movie without each other.
Pretty great together.
They're pretty great.
Yeah.
So they both play 2 of the Men in Black, and then Liam Neeson also taking over the role. It sounds like that
old dude.
Yeah, the old dude, the old crabby guy.
He's gonna be old dude.
He's gonna be old crabby guy. Yeah. Chris Hemsworth posted this. It sounds like they wrapped up their portion of the shooting, so most of the shooting's done at this point, which it should be because it's June 14th is when this movie is coming out.
Rip Torn, I believe, is the guy.
Rip Torn. Yeah, I know. I almost go to Rip Taylor and I'm like, nope. Definitely not Rip Taylor.
Yeah, you're close.
Very different people, though. So June 14th, 2019, Men in Black International. That's wrapped up. We've got, I wanted to bring this up for Wes Anderson fans.
I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan.
Well, filming has begun on a new Wes Anderson movie called The French Dispatch. And
I wonder who's going to star in it.
Yeah. All the same people. All the usuals.
Looks like there's some new faces.
There's a few new faces.
Yeah.
We'll go through the list here, but basically this one's about a French Dispatch is the title for his next offering, a love letter to journalists set at an outpost of an American newspaper in 20th century Paris.
Fun.
Sounds very Wes Anderson.
It's going to be
great. Starring Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Tilda Swinton, Benicio del Toro, Jeffrey Wright, Timothy Chalamet, I can't remember who he is, to be honest, Brad Pitt, Natalie Portman, and Leah Seydoux are
Looks like they're
supposedly
gonna have like
rumored
lesser roles or
but rumored to be in
might
there.
show up. Yeah.
I mean, Brad Pitt's been in.
Where's Ed Norton?
He's been in some Wes Anderson movies, hasn't he?
Ed Norton's got to be there. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
that he has been.
No, I'm thinking of Coen Brothers.
You're thinking of Coen Brothers.
I'm thinking of
Yep.
Coen Brothers. Speaking of Coen Brothers,
Yeah.
Impromptu review for the Ballad of Bilbo, whatever, not
The
Ballad of
Buster
Bilbo
Scruggs.
Baggins, or,
Yes.
Buster Scruggs.
Wasn't your fave?
I was a little disappointed.
I've
I'm
heard
a big
back-
Coen Brothers fan.
I've heard back and forth on that one.
I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan. I was really looking forward to that. It's like 5 or 6 different little mini tales that don't have a whole lot of point to them, and there's not a lot of end.
I think I'm
just
gonna like
being
it.
honest.
I think I'm gonna like it, but yeah,
I like
that.
it, but
Yeah.
it's not.
But it wasn't
what-
like, wow, this is the best movie of the year, which is usually what happens when you have a Coen Brother movie. You're thinking of it as one of the best movies
If they
of the
had
year.
tied them all back in,
Right, so it didn't tie
or
together
if there was
the
an
way you
actual
wanted.
movie, no, it's just a little bunch of short stories.
You gotta
and some of them
wonder.
are really messed up,
You gotta wonder if
like really messed up.
sometimes when these people sign up for like Netflix movies, if they just, I don't want to say phone it in, but but I guess I just did.
I mean, it's shot well. It's
Yeah.
it's acted well. It's just I don't know. Man,
I just
I'm
think
not
there's
into
still
this
this
style.
stigma where if it's a Netflix movie, it's not quite really a real movie, which is
Yeah.
something we talked
Well,
about
they
last week about how Netflix
certainly
is
bought
going to
into
start creating a bigger window between when they premiere it in a theater and when they put it on the streaming service, or will they? And I think if Netflix wants to be taken seriously as a major studio, they might start doing that. They
Yeah.
might start doing it like a month or two, and then it'll come to Netflix exclusively.
Well, this
We'll
one
see.
could have gone straight to Netflix. So
It did.
yeah, no,
they screened
yeah, they
it.
showed it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was too bad. And I am a big Coen Brothers fan. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. Oh, one last thing before we get to the comments and then wrap it up. I'm excited for this coming back. Celebrity Deathmatch from MTV is coming. I may be the only one that's excited, but MTV is bringing back Celebrity Deathmatch. If you never watched Celebrity Deathmatch, it's basically claymation versions of celebrities beating the hell out of each other.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. It was funny. It's a funny show.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
funny.
really dumb, and each episode it's probably like
It's like 5 minutes. or
like
7
5
minutes,
minutes,
or
something like that. I'm hoping maybe this is one more step towards bringing Beavis and Butthead back.
Interesting.
Yep, I'm a Beavis and Butthead fan.
You
I
might be
just
the only
admitted that.
person who wants that.
I am probably the only one admitting this right now, so I'm going to move on from that. No, yeah, I want Beavis and Butthead
I was
back.
a big Beavis and Butthead
Yeah,
fan.
Beavis and Butthead's awesome. All right. Taking a look at comments, we've got a bunch here. I just want to address some of them. Raymond said Netflix is a subscription streaming service as opposed to Tubi TV, which is ad-supported streaming service. I haven't tried Tubi TV. TUBI, have you tried that out?
Nope, I know about it. There's also Philo, which is a free ad subscription, but
Okay.
they don't, or a free ad based, but they don't have their own series. It's a little different thing. They
Okay.
kind of give you a few channels here and there, those kind of services.
Okay. Some other comments. Keelan, I know I'm dying to watch a Diversity Bear version of New York City when it comes to Friends. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Let's see. Steve asked, what did you think of Miss Marvel's trailer? We thought it was great. We talked about that actually at the beginning of the show, so you can go back and take a look at that and or get to the podcast, and we'll have our discussion on that there. Tiffany says, Celebrity Death Jam was my jam back in the day, or Celebrity Death Match was my jam back in the day. I wish MTV would bring music videos back. Yeah, I can understand that. And then
What are music videos?
right. And going back to the comic side of things that we were talking about, there was some mention about Dark Horse Comics being a possibility for somewhere to mine some material.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are a lot of other comic books out there that could certainly be mined other than Marvel. And
Well, I
I'm
have to
probably
say,
being
when
stubborn
you
about that.
get to the bottom depths of Marvel heroes,
Yeah.
are they any,
Are they any
more,
different? Yeah.
renowned than, some of these other heroes?
Right. That's a good point. It's a good point. But
We'll see.
nonetheless, I am excited about Avengers 4
Very
Endgame.
excited.
I'm excited about Captain Marvel to see how that character works out. And there's a lot to look forward to coming
really
up.
is.
Yeah, there's a lot coming up. And we want to say thank you to everybody who tunes into Between the Streams. We're live every Friday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, broadcasting on the Digital Trends platforms out there. And then we're up as a podcast. So hit subscribe to that podcast and make sure you get it. We'll kind of give you an idea of what to look forward to over the weekend, bring you up to date with everything that's come out over the week. And we just try to keep you up to date.
So good for that commute home.
So good
That
for
Friday
that.
commute.
Yes. Yes.
Catch you right up.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Look at that. This is a catchphrase right there.
That is a catchphrase.
Catch you right up.
Catch you right up.
Between the streams, everybody.
Commute.
Thank you for tuning in today. All right, it's Friday. I'm losing it. All right.
Z101.
Thank you, everybody. Send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com, and we will talk to you next week with another episode of Between the Streams.